has had their experience of getting it played up against just a great Lash, and we'll see what we get here today with this one. We do see that Shiv is going to one of the solo lanes up against Lash. That could be an interesting 1v1. We see it's Kelvin and Paradox up against McGinnis and Bebop.
Oh god, this is so annoying. The early
oh my gosh, stalling the wave. That is brilliant. I love it.
It's really annoying, especially when you've got a Bebop with you who makes so much more risk just in terms of both the hook or the grenade if you want to go for it early on. So you're almost never going to be able to actually get close to these creeps. You get a quick push going forward, and then the sustained damage that you can do with the McGinnis and Bebop is just so frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do enjoy the stalling of the. I do have a bit of my Dorian on the pocket, but I mean, we can kind of see early on, at least in just the first couple moments we see after that first wave, Shiv is at least taking a bit of a slight advantage in terms of the souls. Could have an opportunity to essentially bully Lash over on that lane, so that could mean that for someone like Lash, he could be requiring a bit more of that assistance. Now, we do see that
one of the I think that one of the important lanes, so to actually keep an eye out on, assuming that it's going to be the same over here, is going to be that, you know, Vindicta Yamato versus versus the Pocket. And who was the last one? We're going to see in just a second.
Pocket, and it's Pocket and Viscous. So
yeah,
I think that is going to be a really interesting lane, especially, and like you're saying, just because of the fact that Vindicta is able to just keep range, and I think that's going to essentially give a bit of an advantage over Viscous, at least anyways, because Viscous' abilities essentially rely a lot more on just being connected to the ground anyways. So I think there is some good opportunity there.
Yeah, really, if you can win out that Pocket Viscous lane heavily, then it feels like the entire game becomes a lot more easy. Vindicta's not a good hero to play in from behind, neither is Yamato, even if Yamato comes in with a lot of natural damage, courtesy of her abilities. Hayes versus Mo and Krill obviously should go pretty even. To be honest, I don't think there's much kill potential on either side. It should really be, hey, who's trading farm, who's pushing out the waves effectively to be able to set up for a gank onto that all-important, you know, third lane. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, we do see things
coming out. It's Paradox with Yamato now.
Oh, okay, so we have had a bit of a lane swap there. Which overall, I mean, either way, I think it's just going to be a bit fine. We do see that Viscous is actually swapped over as well. So Viscous and Vindicta both. Actually, no. What am I kidding? No, I was wrong about that one. But Kelvin and Vindicta could be a bit of an interesting matchup up against Pocket and Viscous. I think there could be a bit of struggle though, and we already do see Bebop's going in for a bit of that fight. I like the lead on the shot though with the hook, trying to get Yamato a bit uncomfortable, but ultimately things will just back off a little bit here. And it looks like, though, it could be a bit of damage being set up here by the Deadlock Deepstate.
Lash is also a much more effective rotator than Shiv. It feels like he's got a little bit more mobility with his Lash than Shiv does with his dash. So keep an eye out for that as well as the game goes further and further. For now, though, the early damage onto the tower, the early pressure, the Yamato is proving to really not have much of a chance to be able to get much done here. Now pulled back in. There's a wall as well. Can't back off like this. And with the grenade down, the tower disabled. Can't get any damage. Yamato won't fall, but will be uncomfortable.
Yeah, Yamato incredibly pressured there in that moment. Was able to just duck away into the tunnels over at Hospital there and just barely staying alive at about 200 HP. Of course, just going to be sticking around in lane, trying to do a bit of farm and maybe pick up something. But I mean, when you look at McGinnis and Bebop there, where they're at such high HP, we do see Kelvin trying to go for a bit of an engage there with the ice pathing and trying to maybe go in on Viscous, but ultimately Viscous is just going, nope, hold on, back away. Here, have a fist.
Yeah, Mahjong and Krill so far are not necessarily looking like they're at their healthiest moments. Nice start so far for the Deepstate.
It's not quite their healthiest, but we do see that it's not hurting them either right now, even if things are a little bit awkward. A great play out from the Vindicta. Love that there. Just holding down with the stake there onto Pocket, not able to quite engage there on the Kelvin is certainly going to just continue to a bit of that lane sustain. And we do see that for the Soul. This was what I was about to comment on, was that Souls-wise, we're dead even. It's actually Mahjong and Krill with at least like at least a couple hundred souls lead. Although finally at 4 minutes in, we have our first blood. Pocket takes down Kelvin.
The even souls-wise does feel like it's going to be favoring out the Deepstate, though, with the lineup that they have. It isn't anywhere near as far dependent on as many heroes, so if Pocket's able to get ahead and play more for Space Maker, then that's exactly what you want to see. But the McGinnis trade is there. McGinnis falling, and it looks like Bebop all alone is trying to trade back. Yamato will be low as well, but is going to be able to fade away. The Paradox as well disengages, and Bebop will not be able to avenge his teammate.
Yeah, we do see Viscus under a lot of pressure. Will Viscus be able to get away? No! There it is. Vindicta takes down that kill, and that is... Now it's, I think that's what, a 2-for-1 now, essentially, in these scattered lane fights here. And we even see Hayes going down to Yamato. So Yamato with the gank assisting the Mo and Krill over on the outside of the map on pink lane has just taken down Hayes, and they're going to be just wailing on that Guardian over there. And I think first turret could be going the way of Mahjong and Krill.
That's a very... Well, first turret does end up going to
Bebop took that.
Bebop will end up falling for his troubles. That is not going to be worth it for him. McGinnis as well being forced a little bit further back. Vindicta is able to at least take him out of too heavy defensive contention.
Vindicta wanted that assassinate there. She tried to go for it a little bit there, but McGinnis just able to scurry away backwards. And it looks like here it could be, you know, on blue lane, they could actually just be trying to trade things out on the turret. Although Bebop coming back into lane really quickly, I doubt that one's going to be happening so easily. But while this is happening, though, we do see Viscus has essentially been allowed to essentially just kind of just wail on this turret for free for now. Ultimately, though, we'll just be kind of cooling off. Oh, Pocket's gotten trapped. Vindicta. It's going to be your choice here. Ultimately, they will try and at least do a bit there, but it's just going to be kind of not much happening. Pocket just able to retreat into a suitcase, get away from things, and stay alive.
Still, the continual skirmishing coming through. Vindicta, a hero that's very, very good at it. The wall trying to disable Yamato, but instead it's come through to the lower floor. Yamato will be able to back off safely as a result of it. Still no rotations coming up from Shiv, or the last Shiv is low, though he could end up falling. Does Lash have follow-up? Doesn't look like he does. Can't get in there. Meanwhile, Yamato comes out the slash forward as well, trying to force the Viscus out of position, but with the ball out inside the ice dome, Woohoo will back off. Pocket turning around. Yamato's ult is out. He is unkillable, and now he wants to try and pursue forward, take advantage of that fact.
Yeah, great. A lot of ults being used there in that fight. Viscus just barely getting away, but Pocket won't be. Pocket taking down Vindicta with the assassinate there on that kill. Great trade out, and now Bebop rotating in. Gonna try and be a problem here for Yamato, but she retreats onto the bridge. Bebop, though, will start to try and make his way forward to hunt, but overall, Yamato retreats back, gives up on that, and attempting for that fight, considering Hyper Beam on Bebop is just so... It can be incredibly dangerous when he's got a lot of spirit.
I see Shiv.
Could we get a quick Haze check-in? Oh, no, never mind. Shiv's actually been gone on. Shiv's been having a rough time so far. There's been assistance called over.
Oh,
Pocket
yeah.
can provide that long-range engage as well, and if they can't get the Shiv, they might as well get the Guardian.
Yeah, they're definitely working on getting the Guardian Shiv backing away towards base. Now, Hayes has lost her Guardian, you know, now just starting to farm a bit as well. She's going for some of those tier 2 camps over around the Walker on Park Lane, and do see she's coming back to at least clear camps, but overall that Guardian will be going down for a little bit while longer, although we do see Vindicta and Kelvin starting to rotate over. Kelvin at least going to be doing a bit of farming here, and I think waiting for kind of Shiv to get a bit more up York and go for that fight against Lash.
I am sort of wondering what Hayes has been feeling like so far.
I think Hayes is feeling not so great right now. I mean, she lost the Guardian. She's essentially had to play back and just hold under Walker. It's probably not a great feeling. She at least has a couple of her DPS tier 1s. to just kind of make things a little bit easier. But the problem is that Haze can be just incredibly squishy as well, and Bebop's just gotten caught out over on one of those fights. Oh, it's a big fight over on Greenwich Lane. I see like 4 or 5 players just kind of all grouped up going for that one, and we do see Haze kind of going on a split here, and here we go. Viscous in on the fight. Lash going to be stopped there by the Paradox with that 3, but it's going to be the trade out. Viscous combining with McGinnis to take down that kill on Paradox, and overall, the fight, in a way, favors the Deadlock Deepstate.
Yeah, the Viscous save is just so incredible in
is.
its efficacy, not just because obviously the heal and the delay, but it's also just, it feels like if you're particularly clutch with it, you can get a good punch out to try and force that cube off. It just adds even more of a dimension of play and positioning. It's really such a high skill ceiling here, and that's one of the most fun things to watch about it.
Yeah, it is an incredibly fun thing. Is that I think Viscous, when Viscous was first added to the game, right? I think a lot of people really discounted Viscous's viability as a character. You know, it was kind of a difficult kid. These coming into their own by being able to just sort of master the abilities that Viscous has, especially with mobility and everything like that. It's really, oh my goodness, wow, that's smart. That's so smart. McGinnis using the rescue beam, just pulling Bebop out of there, and that Urn's getting ran over to the other side. But we see 3 players of Mahjong and Krill already kind of there and waiting. Vindicta will be backing away to the Walker, but this could be a bit of a team fight here.
It should be, but at the same time, you might end up trading Walkers for the Urn. They let the Urn go, and they know that this is where the right side Walker could come through. The teleport immediately from Shiv and Kelvin to be used to try and get that quick 4-second out. They will settle for the Walker, maybe a kill on the Haze if they can find it as well. And to be honest, that's a great trade to come through.
Yeah, you got to respect that trade there, and it does essentially. Mahjong and Krill, while they have had some of they've trailed a little bit at moments, now it's still very even. 60k souls just about here. We do see it just getting crossed over by Deadlock Deepstate. McGinnis going to be trying to use her ult to maybe cause some problems, although Pocket, I think, is going to potentially was thinking about diving in there for a bit of a fight. Oh no, just backing away there. And that's 2 walkers for an Urn. Very favorable in favor of Mahjong and Krill, although we do see that Deadlock Deepstate, they've gone in, you know, taking a walker of their own.
And this is just one of the advantages of having won out that extremities lane early on, right? The Mo and Krill having taken down Haze and getting the Guardian as well means you can put so much more pressure onto the walkers that way. Meanwhile, Woohoo backing off. Yamato has nothing really to offer to try and fight up against his big old green ball. That's a real man right there. Got the muscles and all.
Listen, the Viscous ball is such a just problem child to deal with in a way, just because you just have no way to really stop it. There are very few things that you can do to really stop it in place when the ball gets rolling, and that can be a bit of a problem there. Now, obviously, will we see what the side of Mahjong and Krill has in mind to try and stop it? Who knows? We'll see as this kind of game goes on. But right now, we do see that at this kind of 12, 13 minute mark, we do see Deadlock Deepstate, they're starting to get themselves into a bit of that smaller 3K.
The question is, when does Mahjong and Krill want to fight? Because the later and later this goes, the more farm you're going to see concentrated out on towards that Vindicta, then Yamato and the Paradox combination. Paradox is obviously going for a bit more of a supportive build in that regards, right? He's deep with them. But it does feel like the later this game goes, the more we start to look out towards Mahjong and Krill to eke this out, unless this Haze can get set up for success.
Yeah, I do see one problem that I kind of think about a little bit is that I feel like Shiv, in a way, can underperform in some of those late game scenarios. He can be a bit
that's
of an
what you think
unruly
about.
one
I
to
think
try
about
and
world hunger
to deal with.
Because I'm based.
There you go, man. But overall, we do see that right now, it's both teams kind of going for their own farm right now. It's nothing too crazy is going on. We do see that, I believe right now it's 4 Guardian. No, there is still a Guardian standing here for the side of Mahjong and Krill, and you can see Deadlock Deepstate. They want to go for it. They're going for that fight, and you can see is just total chaos here. Yamato, we see Mo and Krill's gone down. Lash is just barely hanging on by a thread there. One little tick of health, but overall, it's a 1-for-1 trade around the Guardian, and it still stands for now. Viscous thought about going in with the goo ball ult, but ultimately told to back away, and it's still this kind of 4v4 for the lane.
I mean, that's a great 1-for-1 considering that you see McGinnis and Bullet Dance, rather McGinnis and the Haze commit over there. Haze using the Bullet Dance as well, the first big rotation, and then they just couldn't do anything about them. And Krill so incredibly tanky, and when they finally get the kill, ends up being a 2-for-1, including the Viscous frag that they are able to find. So, again,
Shiv could be in trouble.
Indeed he is. Uppercut forward. Shiv's trying to turn things around. Great damage, but it's going to be a turn on a Bebop. That's where the Kelvin mobility comes in. Quick wall up as well. Shiv's been taken away. Kelvin will be saved. Mind that McGinnis wall.
Great play coming out there from Mahjong and Krill. Now starting to go in. They want to take down McGinnis, who's trapped under the walker, fighting for dear life. But it's Yamato. The samurai comes through, and she cuts her to pieces. The walker now falling. Lash trying to fight, but another play coming out. The Q being used to save Lash, but I don't think it's going to mean much of anything. Lash just trapped. Will he be allowed to live is the real question. Oh! Yamato continues to fight every single tooth and nail that she's got, but overall, it's traded 2-for-2 in the fight. Kelvin's just going to try and get away, but Pocket won't be able to. Now the fight really goes the way of Mahjong and Krill. They win that one 4-2.
That Hawk and Leffa combination is so good because you're so focused on the Yamato as being that primary source of damage, but then you also have the immediate finish-off potential, both obviously theoretically from the Shiv, although he wasn't there in that fight all the time, but also Leffa's Vindicta, who just kept getting on kill after kill after kill. Yamato sure ends up dying for it, but that's so worth it overall. Very nice to see.
Yeah, incredibly worth it. And what we see, I believe, now is that I think first flash slot has been opened up for both teams. I believe. I don't think the Greenwich Guardian. Yeah, so yeah, Greenwich Walker's down. So first flash slot has been opened up, and that is going to be a big boon. And we do see that second slot is open here for the side of Mahjong and Krill. They've gotten 2 flash slots open. We do see McGinnis is trying to go in on Paradox. Oh, great. Great little death blow there coming out there. But Lash, but Paradox, she's able to escape so much. She's using the slow of her 3. She's got a time bomb as well. And it's allowed for these rotations to come in from players like Mo and Krill and Calvin to just kind of stay alive.
It's a reset face back and face forward. While there isn't the Bebop Hyper Beam, you've got a nice window to either go for the Urn or go for another Walker over here. Honestly, without the Hyper Beam, it does feel like you might even, as Mahjong and Krill, be comfortable trying to fight in towards mid-boss, but the lanes are just not necessarily in the right place. Urn now being set up for from both teams. This should be a fight. I mean, you're hoping that would be the case of Mahjong and Krill. Those closed fights where there can be so much damage out from Bebop is not going to be the case now.
I mean, Mo and Krill almost always has an ult ready and trying to dive in on somebody to go for that fight. We see Yamato and Mo and Krill just getting ready. And there it is. Viscous caught immediately. Now the Urn still going to be going the way of Deadlock Deepstate, but with Viscous essentially just getting caught and taken down, it's going to be just, no real fight kind of taking place there. Deadlock Deepstate, they realize they don't want to give up anything to try and go for that one, and they'd rather just take that one loss and just bear with it.
Samshi's been fantastic on this Mo and Krill. Honestly, he's just been in the right place at the right time again and again and again. This is also one of the reasons why you don't necessarily want Woohoo's Viscous to be the one delivering the Urn, because Viscous is great at counter-initiating. He's only good at doing that, though, if you're going on someone else. Because you get the cube out, you get the ball out, you're getting out all of this chaos in there, makes it so that the Kelvin ultimate isn't that effective either. But if Hydration can then come in and get his own ultimate off, get that quick little headbanging going on, it's really hard to actually fight back.
Yeah, I think the Mo and Krill is just a bit of a great counter there towards that Viscous, and you can kind of see it as well. I mean, Mo and Krill, Hydration, 1-1 and 5 assists there already, whereas for Viscous, someone who can farm a bit of kills there on the scoreboard, currently 0-4 and 4 right now, yet to post any of those kills up. Obviously not too big of a deal here. The game's still incredibly close right now. We do see it's about a 3K difference at the moment, and essentially both these teams are neck and neck, but what we do see out of Deadlock Deepstate is they don't want to give up that third flex slot, so they are putting a lot of their resources in defending that Greenwich Walker.
You also just don't want to be picked off one by one, right? When you've got this kind of mobility between the Kelvin, between the Mo and Krill burrow as well, and then obviously the flying bastard that is a Vindicta and his assassinate.
Yeah.
There's another B word, but we're not going to use that here.
Oh, goodness. We do see 4 players of the Deadlock Deepstate. They're grouped up on Greenwich still. They're still holding this lane. They just want to kind of keep things, you know, keep things in check and make sure. But we also see a bit of that same coming out from Mahjong and Krill. They're really wanting to hold on onto their blue lane. They're wanting to really hold on to their purple lane and just keep that Walker, which is still hanging on by a thread. It's not got a whole lot of HP, but it's at least something to work with.
It's also just really good. I mean, even if you ignore the flex slots, it's also really good to have positions from where you can force your opponents to have a disadvantaged fight, right? Because you always have the zip line leading up to the Walker. You always have the ability to be able to quickly relocate back to it, as well as set up for a faster flank if you've got a teleport player coming through. You know, maybe someone like a Hawk on the Yamato can do something like it. So even if you don't care about the flex slot, it still matters. But still, there's a fight coming through, and that started off by the pocket.
Here we go. Pocket using that ult will be hitting Paradox and as the here around the blue lane, around the mid-boss pit. Bebop popping off the hyper beam and just wanting to mop up as much damage as he can. Ultimately, will just be backing away. And the fight, it doesn't look like anyone's gone down yet. It's a big engagement from both sides, really. We do see some ults getting used, but I don't think it's quite as full-fledged a team fight as I think maybe we might have been expecting out of that one. Mo and Krill will be getting dove onto, and that could be a free death there in favor of Deadlock Deepstate. Mo and Krill pops his one, just trying to stay alive, and now just going to jump into that pit there. Viscous, I think, wants to go in after him. But overall, problem is here is that Mo and Krill can just continue to fight and just lifesteal, trying to stay alive, using the ult there, but ultimately caught out, downed, and ultimately that is a bit to be expected after everything that had happened there, just getting caught by the Lash, who used that ult for that kill. Although Yamato seemingly wants to go in for a bit of that, and I think that could be a bit of a mistake. Overall, she should be okay to just kind of get away with it, as she is just trying to fight her way out.
Yamato should be able to back off of her here right now. Still a lot of chase potential coming through. Yamato also straightening up for the turnaround. Remember, Kelvin and Vindicta are right behind him. Meanwhile, the urn picked up by the Paradox, and they've realized the fight is over. I thought that when Mo and Krill goes down into the lower room there, into the little basement farm spot, you're going to have a much more effective fight, even if he dies, because of how much damage the Yamato can do in that closed space environment.
Oh, yeah.
Funnily enough, it actually ends up being worse just because the Viscous is the first one to go in. If the Viscous gets his ball up, then there's no way you're ever going to be winning a fight in that situation, even if it feels like, oh, hey, there's a choke point, they're trying to come back over as well. If Viscous balls comes forward, then it just completely stuns your entire team. So it's really hard for them to commit in, but it did feel like it was set up for success, even if it's not found.
Yeah, there were a lot of great pieces in play from both sides during that fight. Mo and Krill, I'm surprised he was able to stay alive for so long. I think that was one of the big surprises there for me, was how just long Mo and Krill was able to sustain, just continue to lifesteal a bit away. Although I do think that right now, Mahjong and Krill, they're going in. They want this fight, and they are going to have it. Viscous, essentially boxed in, just going to go into the ball and start rolling around. Ultimately cut down, though. It's Shiv using that to take that kill. Ultimately still has his ult up, but here comes Bebop with the Hyper Beam, and the team will scatter. The fight continues on, but Yamato, without her ult to use, will just be cut down, and things continue to go forward here. Even numbers for both sides, but we see the damage is stacking up for the Deadlock Deepstate. Mo and Krill just going around, jumping up and down and trying to be a nuisance. Hayes, though, will be finding her mark and hitting absolutely any shot that she can. Just trying to hunt down that little mole man and make sure it's a problem there. But we do see more kills going the way of Mahjong and Krill. We see Bebop's gone, Pocket is gone, and that means problems here for Deadlock Deepstate, and they might have to consider backing away.
Deadlock have all of their players being full HP. They're not backing off, not for anything. Shiv's also still got chase potential. Here they come. Shiv's found the Paradox as well. Divine Barrier out, trying to turn it around with the Time Bomb as well. Shiv's overcommitted. The extra damage coming forward as well. DMB's got to be afraid. Vindicta's trying to provide a bit more cover fire, but Paradox now rotates backwards. It's the Kelvin. Once again, the Arctic Beam keeping them all away. The Time Wall keeps this Paradox alive. How is he not dying? Samji's just getting the hell out of there. Somehow staying alive for the longest of times. The Yamato's respawn.
Oh
the Paradox
my
swap
goodness.
is out as well. He's still not dying. Viscous now trying to pursue forward. This is one slimy weasel, and although he'll fall, that's where Yamato's come through as well. The fight. Who's winning? Who's losing? Who's finding out? It's about to be a secondary death for Hawk. Hawk's got the ultimate out, but the Viscous Goo Ball will be able to disengage and back off. There's no way for him to pursue the ultimate use. Is there a punish? No. There isn't.
That is just a crazy long team fight throughout that entire thing. It had to have been like a 2-minute fight between both these squad. Well, just throwing everything that they had at each other, and I think Lash said it best. Cinema, right there. I mean, oh my goodness. Both teams just continue to go back and forth. We saw people dying, and the fight went so long that they were able to respawn and come back in for more. That's how long and drawn out that fight was. And, I mean, it was still Mahjong and Krill. In a way, they were able to come back on top a little bit. Oh, Viscous doesn't want to get caught and ultimately should be able to get away with this one, but here comes Mo and Krill. And with the ult ready, I think it's just going to be a lockdown to Woohoo. Oh, there it is. Rescue beam attempted, but overall, Viscous somehow stays alive, and that is just a total rat play out of McGinnis to play that wall, but you gotta respect it.
And I mean, in that previous team fight, one of the best things for them to start off was actually in the Yamato and Kelvin both inside the Frost Dome to try and fight up against the Viscous. Viscous is generally seen as a counter to the Frost Dome because obviously he can continue to get stuns out until we've got the Unstoppable. But because the Yamato ultimate comes in with a natural built-in Unstoppable, he's really good at taking down the Viscous inside the Snow Dome. So it's actually a really great start to the fight. The problem though came in was that Hayes was actually continually racking up damage with the bullet duns and just keeping on getting pickoffs left, right, and center. So he does his job well. But the fact that Paradox stays alive for that long, really, Sam just uses his hero to the absolute fullest there.
Yeah, and something to think about as well is that as this game just continues to go forward, as we're crossing over 26 minutes, is that some of the farm that we're seeing right now, Hayes is pretty well farmed. She's got 32,000. She's gotten Ricochet pulled up, and plenty of these tier 4s like Unstoppable as well. So she is really building herself up in this game right now. On the other side, we do see a bit of a similar scenario though with Yamato. Hawk playing the Yamato has definitely crossed that 30k threshold as well, and both sides. Neither wants to give this up. Bebop's going to be going in for an earned delivery here. And we do see Yamato has even gotten that refresher to work with. And that is a crucial piece of kit there for Yamato. And if she can activate, refresher, get 2 of those ults off, it is going to be a brawl. But we see one happening right now in the river, in the alley. And it's a Lash gone, eliminated immediately in the fight. Which means that ult is of no use here to the Deadlock Deepstate, and I think they're just going to be trying to back away. They will at least get that earned delivery, but man, they lost 2 bodies for it.
Might not be done with this one yet. Viscous is still being pursued down, and it doesn't feel like he's going to be able to get away. And the problem is that this Viscous has been dying consistently early on. This is exactly what you want to see to actually try and counter out this GUI hero, which is you don't let it get the farm up. Viscous is not a creep farming hero. He is very much a, I will stay alive in every team fight, get 4 assist gold, and then that's exactly how I'm going to start building it up. But because Viscous keeps dying, you aren't actually seeing that warp stone coming out. You're not actually seeing that extra bit of survivability that you can get with a few extra items here and there. He's only on 22,000 souls, which really doesn't feel like enough.
Oh, goodness. The haze, the wall, it's all coming together. Can it be a stolen rejuvenator? And it is! The Deadlock Deepstate come in after Mahjong and Krill take down the mid-boss, and they steal that rejuve. What a play coming through. Will they lose some players for it? Sure, but it's not going to matter. They've got the rejuve. They can be revived much faster now. And look at that play. Rescue beam there from McGinnis to pull Hayes out of the fight. And that is a huge win there for the Deadlock Deepstate. What a play to come through. And they're going to start to encroach on the base as well.
That could be the turn,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
You've also got yourself 5 rejuves even after Pocket respawns over here. You've got about 30 seconds before there's any sort of a fight. You should be getting out multiple base gardens, maybe just going straight for the shrine in over here. No, they'd rather try and chase out the base gardens, it feels like, but no. Commitment's coming in. Kelvin looks like he might be fighting right now. This is going to be difficult. Quick little jump up. You've got the Hyper Beam threaten to try and stay mid-air. It's a quick little spam out to continue the threaten forward. Remember, if you keep cancelling it while you're in air, you stay levitating for longer.
Oh my goodness there, and that shrine's gone. Patron is getting melted rapidly here. And it looks like here for Mahjong and Krill, they'll have one chance at defense because it doesn't look like the Deadlock Deepstate want to give this up. We do see the Hyper Beam coming through. Paradox melted, just turned to glass in moments. And Bebop is still shredding it here with this ultimate. Wants to find everything he can, but Kelvin at least providing a bit of a saving grace. But will he be alive much longer? No. Shiv and Yamato will be trying to fight to stay alive. The ult being used by Yamato as she's just trying to back away and stay alive in the fight, but ultimately gone down by Hayes. It's essentially Vindicta, Mo and Krill, and Shiv to make all of the difference here in this fight. And Bebop seemingly will be taken down, so the defense will at least be holding for the moment. But right now, it is Mahjong Krill. They are definitely pushed up against the wall.
Still a chance to try and mind up that a little bit of something extra, a little bit of that last stand, but it does look like we are getting close to that GG right now, especially with the faster respawns coming. The lane pressure on, continuing to keep everything pushed out. Still 20 seconds before the big raid boss Yamato comes in. I don't see a world where Deadlock Deepstate can sort of lose this right now.
Yeah, it seems like it is their game to lose, right? They've got so many advantages for them, and look at what we're seeing here picked up from McGinnis. Soul Rebirth, and that is a huge thing to have in some of these fights. It's essentially just a free rejuvenator every 150 seconds or so, and for McGinnis, that will allow her to, it allows her, if she gets caught out and dies, so what? She's able to just bring herself back. She can just, throw it on a wall, get some turrets, and keep on trucking along. And we do see an urns already being delivered here from the Deadlock Deepstate to continue to try and keep things going. Now, despite all these advantages that Deadlock Deepstate has, the soul difference is only about 1,000. The problem is that the damage seemingly just favors the Deepstate so much, and especially when you're looking at Hayes, who's at 44,000 farm.
It's a benefit of having a very clear hard carry who's going to be given all of the farming space, all of the roles, right? I mean, you've got obviously a lot of damage coming up between the Vindicta and the Yamato over here as well, but it's very different to the single raid boss. You've also got so much control on the other side to try and take care of that Vindicta-Yamato combination.
Hayes continue to just run around, get some of that farm.
Hayes also has an empty slot, by the way, so he's going to have a big power-up soon.
Oh, boy. Hayes, yeah, could be set up for that here. We do see Mahjong and Krill just going to be backing up off of blue lane, as ultimately they're still... one of their biggest hindrances right now is that they don't have that next flex slot. They don't have their third flex slot open, and as this game continues, or as the farm continues to build, they need that walker if they want to be able to get through. They need to at least get a walker or break through base and take shrine. And if they're unable to do that with the defense that Deadlock Deepstate are able to put up, that could be just a huge problem here. But look at this play. Viscus is going to get caught out, and ultimate. Oh my goodness. Mo and Krill locking it down, but the Ice Dome, you were talking about this, how it could favor Viscus, and here comes the fight. Another one coming through. Lash going in, but here's the Haze. The bullet dance. She wants to find her moment, find her damage, find her kills. But ultimately here, the damage is favoring the Deepstate so much. It's Yamato now who's just going to be trying to fight to at least take a kill, maybe just trying to stay alive, but ultimately she is just getting pelted down, and it's gone for nothing. Paradox falls in the moment, and I think with that, it could be a potential push to try and end the game here out from the Deadlock Deepstate.
You can see the difference between whether Mo and Krill gets the ultimate out onto the goo before or after he's already got the ball off. He was unkillable there. Now, that same Mo and Krill, that same hydration, well, he's been forced away from the rest of his teammates. It is going to be that last push. It should be the end of a hair to be spelled down.
Yeah, especially when the patron is weakened. Shiv, Moen, Krill, and Vindicta they're gonna be the ones that have to do it all. But it looks like this game number 1 is set to go the way of Deadlock Deepstate. They are starting to push in on the Amber patron. It's already in its weakened state. We do see that Shiv is going in for the fight. Moen Krill will be trying to delay the inevitable, but it's a victory for the Deadlock Deepstate.
Don't know who's going to take it, whether it is going to be kind of somehow Mahjong and Krill will come back, whether they can kind of look to when they can look.
Simple but effective.
Oh boy, you and I, we've got ourselves a game to go here.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I mean, certainly we do. And when you're looking at this with this kind of team comps on both sides here, I really the first game was like, sure, it's a little cloudy on who we think's gonna win, but you could see the favors for Deadlock Deepstate. But now I think it's even muddier still, right? Yeah. I think this is a scenario where it really is just who has the better engage, and right now, it seems that I am favoring a bit more towards Mahjong and Krill where they have this Dynamo, they have this Viscous, they have these great engagers that it can really just get in your face and just really just pin you down and try and make some damage happen.
Look, that's true, but all day long I've sort of been talking about counter engage a lot, and so far what I've talked about is save, right? As far as Viscous is concerned, as far as that Dynamo is concerned, and that's really good. But what's also really good is offensive counter initiation that Pocket provides, and Eldorian's Pocket and his Affliction could do a lot versus that Wraith ultimate that's been fully maxed out versus that Dynamo Singularity where you've got that nice 6-second disable that you can get overall. So if you Pocket re-engage through the Affliction, that actually does so much damage in that duration that you end up coming out in much more of a doable circumstance. Combine that with a good McGinnis Wall or even the McGinnis Rocket Barrage. There's good team fight from either side. Honestly, this is the most 50-50 draft I think we might have seen all tournament long, regardless of the disrespect, the blatant disrespect given out to my boys Mo and Krill.
Yeah, I know. We were talking a little bit about that, and I know I was saying, like, I'm not sure why the teams are still really picking into that Mo and Krill, but I mean, I think, like you had mentioned before, that it really does come down to a bit more of the sort of just team fight aspects of it. Not really that Mo and Krill is a bad hero, it's just the fact that sometimes the teammates, the team fights just don't go the way, and then Mo and Krill doesn't feel like he has that impact. And or a quick pause for I guess a settings change or something like that, just to quickly just batten down the hatches, and we are back into things here. Right now, I am interested to see some of the lanes that we've got going on right now. Abrams versus Hayes. I think that was a bit of a solo lane I actually expected. I kind of thought, I was like, what's a good way to counter Hayes in a lane fight? And that was Abrams, when I was looking, was like the only one that really immediately came to mind. Dynamo as well. Honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised to have seen a Dynamo in the solo lane, but right now, that solo lane of Hayes Abrams, and then we've got McGinnis and Pocket up against Viscous and Yamato there. I like that one as well, and they're clearly putting a lot of bully up onto Pocket and to McGinnis there, this Yamato and Viscous.
Hayes has already gotten, not Hayes rather, Wraith has already gotten off to a very good start versus this Mo and Krill though. He's going to be getting his ultimate earlier on. It doesn't matter all that much against the Mo and Krill, to be honest, but the early kill is really important because now if Hayes wants to rotate back over out towards that third lane, you could see a lot being done. For now though, it is going to be pretty even outside of that single kill all across the board. One of the things that we have had confirmation of, by the way, shout out to Tana Metro. Oh, hold the point. Arctic Beam from Kelvin. Not really much being done, just some damage exchange. But shout out to Tana Metro for checking this one out while we had the pre-game going on. It's got a good YouTube channel as well. Go check it out. We can actually see McGinnis pull someone out of Singularity with the rescue beam, and we already saw some great plays being made from the McGinnis. That Deadlock Deepstate has been prioritizing again and again, so maybe that Dynamo Singularity won't be everything. Meanwhile, nice Arctic grenade going forward, and you've got yourself a dead sassy woman with a hat on.
Yeah, great assist there out from Lash and Kelvin to just give Mo and Krill a bit more of that space to breathe, right? Wraith was definitely causing a bit of problems there, but now getting shut down in lane, certainly going to help things out a little bit here, but I think that's only going to invigorate Mahjong and Krill to go for a bit more here. We see Yamato just going in on this fight. We see a cube coming through, and there it is. Viscus has found that kill on it to the McGinnis and at least traded out that earlier fight there on the lanes. And so, that kill going. Look at this. Yamato as well is just going to be floating over towards York and just going to be applying that pressure onto Hayes. Oh my goodness, Orchid. I can't imagine you might be surviving this. Great sleep, though. Will at least buy some space, and I think she might actually make it out of this one. Oh my god, the parry! That's just insane. Yamato putting some silence onto that one with her blade there. But oh my goodness. Hayes, if this was a 1v1 between her and Abrams, she would have whole-handedly won it.
I mean, that's also really good aggro switching out, coming out of there, right? Abrams getting away right at the nick of time as the tower damage was coming forward. And honestly, all of that is enabled by the really smooth play from Rocco, where he initially saves the Yamato, both enabling the kill in his lane, but also enabling Yamato to try and go over, get that quick gank out of the Haze. So very nicely done, the butterfly effects, but there's that ultimate coming forward from Raid. Burrow will be negating it, so like I said, not the biggest of deals, but you have now used that mobility tool available to you.
Yeah, and it's on cooldown here, which does mean that for Mo and Krill, it's going to have to be a bit of a tougher one. Ultimately, just sliding away, using an extra bit of mobility, but we see Yamato going for an ult here. Hayes is here as well, but Pocket's down. And McGinnis going to be under a lot of pressure here, and the wall not going to be fast enough. Yamato the ground, tried to fade in, tried to throw, but ultimately I think she get caught and taken down on her own. Ultimately, though, she backs away to the cover of the walker, and she'll be able to stay alive. This Pocket now rotates in from spawn to try and go for the fight.
Mahjong and Krill have got such incredibly good aggro switching, but watch out for the wall. It's forced you away. You can't engage again, or your 4 player is not useful, and the heavy barrage continues to deal heavy damage. You're trying to run off and run back into the foreground. That's where Eldorian's Pocket continues to deal more and more damage. Eldorian re-engaging forward, but there's no more fighting to be had. Full disengage comes out, and there will be the fade away. All in the meanwhile, this raid's been pushed off by both the Lash and Kelvin. Is there a fight to try and turn things around? Wraith wants to pursue.
Yeah, Wraith has definitely considered it, but ultimately the Guardians are starting to fall, but they're starting to fall in favor of Deadlock Deepstate. Now they've taken 2 to the 1, I believe, there of Mahjong and Krill. Yeah, they've only taken 1 Guardian here so far in this laning phase. It's been a bit of a tougher laning phase, although even though the fight's still going pretty well, and oh my god, that is ace movement there out from McGinnis to just get away, barely surviving on like 59 HP and just gonna hide up on the roof, using the air vent to get away. Super great play out there from McGinnis to stay alive. And now the fight going on means Yamato's getting taken down, and Viscus just has to back away.
This fight might not be over yet. DMB on the Lash wants to try and re-engage out onto the Dynamo, maybe. Now, just going back to farming. So we will get some time to breathe. We will get some time to let the dust settle.
No one hides from me.
Deadlock Deepstate do come out ahead, but remember, the advantages for Mahjong and Krill that obviously, Malibu and Zola pointed out for us, very heavily rely on the Singularity and comboing around it, right? You rely on getting that maxed out Wraith lift up as well early on so that you can have the Singularity into the Wraith lift. So you're looking out towards that, sort of a 14.5, 16.5 minute timing where they should be at their strongest. Right now is more about surviving than thriving for the Mahjong and Krill side.
And we do see Viscus has gone for a bit of a pause as well. That's Rocker calling that one. Although, so must have been a quick little check of something right there, but we are getting back into things here. And now obviously we do see that the Greenwich Lane Walker or Guardian there for the side Deadlock Deepstate is vulnerable. Oh, that fist! Oh my goodness! Great engage. Unfortunately, not quite able to capitalize. Abrams will be walled in. Could be a bit vulnerable there. And here comes the Pocket ultimate. Will be causing a bit of problems and doing a bit of damage, but ultimately it shouldn't be too bad. And will cool off once again. But McGinnis and Pocket, they're just going to be able to continue to hold on to this lane and keep the side of Mahjong and Krill from really pushing forward.
One of the things that's going to be cool to see, obviously, is Samch on the Abrams. In the previous game, we saw him on the Paradox having some really nice, stylish plays coming forward, but it's not necessarily very survivable heroes. Samch on highly mobile, survivable heroes is probably going to have more of a fun time for that, but now, meanwhile, the Viscous Ball comes out, and McGinnis is just trying to fade back. It's still going to be a good stun, a great punch, but the dashes away will provide a little bit of time, but quickly ziplining forward into him is the Yamato, still alive. Quig somehow stays in the game, but it's Abrams to come through. Sam's falling low, still fighting back his Hawk, trying to give them the tour, and there's a parry on DMB, taking him down as well. Singularity behind, Pocket Affliction 2, a secondary kill comes in, and Pocket is completely owning it. Eldorian cannot be stopped.
Eldorian just steps up once again. Huge plays on the Pocket. And it's another fight going the way. You know, even if it doesn't quite seem like it there, with how hectic things got there on Greenwich, it does go the way of the Deadlock Deepstate. They take down the Guardian. They're able to just continue to widen this gap. And that's a first flash slot almost secured here. We do see that York is still standing for now. And then give that a couple more seconds, and there it is. First flash slot there in favor of the Deadlock Deepstate, as they have jumped into a bit of a 3K soul lead.
I do wonder whether the urn will be made a priority early on for the Deadlock Deepstate side, right? The lanes are pretty even as far as the wave status is concerned, so they are going for it. It's contestable, right? But the problem is you have to try and get your Dynamo to lean past the Mo and Krill, where you are putting him at risk of being ulted down and with the follow-up that might be available. So they're electing not to go for this right now, but they're really just, even on the Deadlock Deepstate side, they're just playing earn denial rather than actually trying to deliver. They're just keeping it in their own territory. You're going to see teams do this when they are in this even state and they don't want to commit to anything yet, but they also just keep the enemy team away from it by keeping it in their own territory until, you know, the guy who's actually supposed to pick it up can come through. Now Kelvin takes it. Now the waves are pushing it a little bit more. Now there's more of a sacrifice to be made for Mahjong and Krill if they choose to contest it.
Yeah, and considering the fact that they do have Yamato and Viscous have teleported in towards York, and maybe consider trying to deny here, but overall with this delivery, Kelvin's gonna have no problem with that one, and he could even try and box some players in there with his ultimate. We will see, but Yamato with the ult gonna start going in for the fight now. Mo and Krill gonna be under some pressure, but I think the real pressure is gonna fall on towards Kelvin as he is just getting boxed in here, taken down. It's Viscous onto a 3-kill streak there with that one. And right now, it's going to essentially be onto Deadlock Deepstate. They could have an opportunity to kind of split push there on blue and blue lane and green lane to just maybe try and start to wail on the blockers. Oh, great play there out from the Mo and Krill. He'll be taking down Yamato, although quickly traded off by Abrams, who is going to be spawning out the McGinnis, and I don't think McGinnis is going to want to go for that fight.
Yeah, Hawk really overextended there. That's actually a big loss for him to come forward, especially when you see that the Walker's being pushed on either side, so it should probably end up being traded. Dynamo is trying to defend it, so maybe not. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, and yeah, Eldorian's backing off, so maybe not that bad. Okay. Didn't feel like Hawk needed to die, but even so, 1-for-1's not terrible. Can we get a check-in on Wraith? Because that lady is farming 14,000 souls on her right now.
Yeah, that is something that if left unchecked can become a very big problem. Wraith's farm, her potential to just continue to farm with those souls is really just unmatched. And yeah, look at that. We see just plenty of items coming her way. Lots of we see a tier 3 coming through. I think it's escalating exposure or escalating magazine or something like that.
Intensifying magazine. Yeah.
There we go. Oh my gosh, my brain.
Hey, don't worry. This is the only hero
I tried to find the word.
I know the builds.
Yeah, exactly.
This is actually insane though, because he's also got 4K on top of all of that, so if he wants to actually start going in towards an early Siphon, or even going into the double armor build, be much more tanky and play tank range, this is really, really good farm. Hazel will be doing absolutely nothing to it. The double punch up, and now looks like Eidolon's the one to actually try and pursue forward, looking for the team fight over there. Abrams trying to fight away, and the quick goo ball will be doing just that. Rescue beam trying to bring him back in, but obviously interrupted by the door frame, so not quite that easy.
Darn door frames.
Yeah.
Just getting in the way of our rescue beams. Now, I'm... Ooh.
Shockey's found
gone down.
McGinnis. Quig has gone down, yeah.
Yeah, Dynamo and Yamato combined for that McGinnis, although McGinnis didn't go down without taking a prize for herself. She got the walker there over on Greenwich, so that is at least a bit of a small victory there. You know, a bit of a trade out, but right now we do see that there's only one lane guardian left standing here for the Deadlock Deepstate. So this first black slot for Mahjong and Krill should be coming through here shortly. It's just going to take that one good fight to take down lane.
I mean, to be honest, there's also for Deadlock Deepstate, the very nice thing is if you can take out both of the mid walkers, the double mid lane walkers, you have a much more uncontested mid boss area. It's a little bit longer to actually get out towards mid boss, so if you continue to push the lanes forward, a single team fight, not even a team fight, but like a skirmish where it goes 1-for-1. If you have the lanes pushed out, you have about an extra 10 seconds to pull out that mid boss, so you don't go into the same trouble that obviously Mahjong and Krill had in the previous game, where you're worrying about, oh my god, is there going to be a steal? Am I scared? What's going on? It's a little bit less concerning for that way.
Absolutely. Now, we do see that Earn is getting set up here, it's seemingly, for Mahjong and Krill. They want to try and make a run of it. Now, it does make sense. They are actually in a bit of a slight lead, 3,000 souls up right now. And they want to maybe try and extend that, right? Soul Earn is still kind of descending right now, so they're just going to take this moment, clear out some wave, and as it lands down, it's going to be Viscous grabbing on, and Yamato and Ivy going to be trying to play a bit of that defense as well. Oh, they're doing it! Can we please see that Ivy POV, because she is flying Viscous one express trip all the way over to the pink lane, and drop down Viscous, no problemo. She's gonna get the ability point, farm plenty of those souls. I love it. That's a great play.
That's very nice to see, for sure. But is there a plan being set up for Pocket right now? Dynamo's used his boost to try and come forward, and with the rate nearby, this could be an overcommitment. You also see the Lash coming in from behind. Is there a turnaround? No. Okay, they've decided not to. Wraith is in fact using the teleporter to set up for a fight in the left lane. This could be trouble.
Mo and Krill, McGinnis, they're seemingly boxed in and with no way out of there. They're going to try and take down the walker. The rest of the side of Mahjong and Krill, it's McGinnis gone. And for the Mo and Krill, no tunneling's going to save you this time. The walker still stands for now. But, oh my goodness, that's got to be a bit of a tough one, because you just got boxed in entirely by that one. Great play from the Wraith to just teleport in. Lash could get caught out here by Viscous as well. That's a huge thing to lose out on, and Abrams wants to go in. He's using some of those abilities trying to catch him, but ultimately forced to back away.
So if any one of you guys is watching from other MOBAs, right, from Dota, I don't know any other MOBAs, guys, I'll be honest. Theoretically from Dota or League of Legends or Smite or whatever, right? Towers are a lot harder to kill. But in Deadlock, walkers seem like, you know, they're inevitably going to go down no matter what happens. They don't provide that much of defensive capability. So one of the cool ways of framing a walker that you can think of is, how many fights can I win off of this walker before it dies? Right, so even though the walker goes down to very low HP and everything, that one still theoretically has one more fight in it, right? You've just seen that really nice turnaround. You've got that good double kill over there from there as well. The problem is, across the rest of the map, you've lost another walker. So you have to be very careful about these trades when you're taking them, because the fights per building in Deadlock is going to end up being a very important metric of how well you've managed to actually keep map control across the entire thing. So yes, it's a fight one, but look at how much damage has been dealt across the map towards Mahjong and Krill's buildings.
Absolutely. And something to consider as well with walkers, and I just love that mentality and that mindset, like framing it that you did, is that as well with the walkers, if you get close enough, it'll do the whole big ground slam, and that is a big stun to be taken down. Now, obviously, with like normal lane guardians, they just kind of punch you. You take a fair bit of damage, right? And sometimes it's no big deal. But with walkers, getting stunned, especially in a fight like that, if you have an enemy pull you under walker and you get stunned out, that's a devastating moment to try and recover from. Oh, Lash is disconnected. So it looks like we got a quick pause moment here as Lash is seemingly disconnected from the server and should hopefully be back momentarily.
Yeah,
slam
this is
bug. Oh, unlucky.
Oh dear.
That's unfortunate. It seems that something's crapped out.
It is obviously still technically a beta game, right, guys? Remember, it looks very
it's in
polished.
development.
It's got a lot of things, right? There's a lot that could be changing. There's a lot that still will be fixed and fine-tuned. That being said, Dota was in beta for about 5 years, right? So, who knows?
Hey, some people say Counter-Strike 2 is still in beta. So, you know what? Hey,
I hope it is. I really hope it is, to be honest. But no, enough about other games, because over here, one of the interesting things to also keep in mind is Wraith has not fully come into the fray, right? Wraith has not been hunting. Wraith has not been trying to pair up with his teammates. Even there, when you see that teleport to come through with a backstab, Wraith is setting up for farming up the left side of the map, and it just so happens to be he's farmed up most of the right side. He's pushed the wave in. There's still about 3 creep waves that he can get on left side, as well as 4 to 5 neutral camps, which is why he's come over. Will we see this big team fight, Purple Lady, to come through or not is a big question, because everything we've set up is for Dynamo Singularity, and the Light Mo and Krill for now will fall. But these singular pickoffs are not necessarily what the Mahjong and Krill draft is built for. So Deadlock, Deepstate are not too unhappy about this.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal to be losing Mo and Krill in that moment, right? Because if it was a team fight, you'd absolutely be nervous, because then you could face losing that second walker and opening up another flex slot here for the side of Mahjong and Krill. Good fist there out from the side of Viscous. Will at least be doing a bit of damage there, but the wall from McGinnis is the real sticking point there, and we do see here comes a bit of an engage from Viscous, wanting to at least be a bit of a nuisance, and I think now we're going to start to see some push for these walkers, but look at Pocket over on purple lane, just going to get caught out in the open here, trying to escape, trying to get away under the walker, but with 4 players on top, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Ultimately does just get away. Abrams is kind of chasing him down for it, though, but the walker, I think, will have to be a bit of a sacrifice, but oh wait, they're going in. They want to go for it here. Here comes Pocket, using the storm of the souls, but the walker's gone. Now Pocket will just disengage. Lash and Kelvin are still sticking around, though. Rescue beam from Kelvin to pull out Mo and Krill, and this fight shouldn't really have any further bloodshed.
Wraith is keeping the McGinnis away over here as well, so it becomes a lot easier to disengage because there isn't a wall to actually pull you back. McGinnis is prioritized trying to defend over here, and this is where the fight should be coming through. You see the Viscous being trapped in front of the wall. You see Lash looking for a place to go in, and now he has. Viscous falling low, the immediate double kill, and it's Viscous to be coming forward, tearing them apart. Kelvin trying to find a place to engage, but it's still Lash to do all the damage. Wraith can't get anything done. All that farm is for naught. It's all going the way of Viscous, who just keeps on being a nice gooey boy.
Viscous at least trading out a couple of kills there, so the fight, while it started with Lash getting a double kill on that death slam, at least keeps things even. Now the walker still a bit vulnerable here, but it is a flex slot opened from the purple lane fights earlier. So right now, for the side of Mahjong Krill, having gotten that, they'll at least be able to buy another item or so. Continue to go, and we do see that Yamato, she's saving up her funds. She's at about 5,000 souls right now, wants to get to one of her 6,200 items, which I am willing to bet that it's probably going to be Refresher.
Would be surprised if it isn't, really. It didn't feel like in the previous game Hawk necessarily actually gave us all that much from the Refresher, to be fair. Do we have a silence or a curse being built so far by anyone? I know that it's not the typical build and Hawk will not be happy to have to go for it, but I would actually not hate the silence or the curse to be prioritized. Well, the curse for Idorian specifically.
Right.
Because it feels like if you take him down before the Affliction comes out, the damage is really heavily mitigated. I don't actually think Haze matters that much in this game until she's at about 35,000.
Yeah, and Hayes, while she is farming pretty effectively right now, I don't think she's been able to have quite as much success because on the other side of things here, it's Hayes versus Wraith, and I feel like if you're going for like pound for pound damage dealers, they're very similar in the fact that they are able to run around and farm as quickly as they need to. That's a big important factor to kind of think about here. And we do see something happening though, and that is that Mahjong and Krill, I think they want to go for a bit of an earn fight here. They've got a couple players setting up. They're starting to clear out York lane and just make sure these lanes are pushed up. So whatever Deadlock Deepstate decides to do when it comes to trying to push for an earn delivery, it's going to have to be a messy one. And I think Viscous is going to picking up a 3,000, I believe one of the armors as well, just to kind of allow for a bit more of that survivability. I think this fight could be coming through here any moment now. It's brewing, though.
It always seems to be.
It always seems to be, but I don't think it's going to be this time. Dynamo doesn't have his ult to work with, though, and that could be a bit of a problem. And earn delivered, so it looks like they were just, they postured for it. They thought about it, but ultimately I think they decided, you know what, let him have it.
It's like a playground. Hold me back, bro. Hold me back. Oh, bro, if my bro wasn't holding me back, you don't know what I was going to do to you.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, might be playtime, but not a playground. There is money on the line thanks to our sponsors in Team Liquid and Coinbase. Shout out to the boys.
Yeah, shout out Liquid and Coinbase for just hooking it up for that one. I mean,
Yeah.
gotta give major props and respect to them for doing that and supporting, you know, what is really just a fledgling game in development. You know, supporting a tournament for a game that's in development is just a really cool thing. So yeah, again, thanks to Team Liquid for that one.
The only other support that we can see so far that even comes close to being half of what Team Liquid and Coinbase have provided is Hydration. He's 0-0 and 11, dude. The poor guy.
Oh,
He
goodness.
won't die, he won't get a kill, he'll just be there for the assist. He's a high five man. Might be the bridesmaid forever, but does also mean he doesn't get into any bad marriages, I guess. I don't know, he's not dead either, so there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, so long as you're not dying, it's fine, right? You're doing your damage,
Yeah.
you're getting your assists, you're having at least some of that impact coming through. So I guess you gotta at least give that one a little bit of respect there. But overall, things have really kind of cooled off here at the 24-minute mark, because we're seeing both of these teams really focusing on just farming. That's their big focus right now, is just focusing on farm, focusing on just getting all these souls collected here. And we are seeing that it's this continual race between Wraith and Hayes, as both of them want to kill each other, but nobody wants to go in for a fight where they have to kill each other, because both sides, if it's Juve, taking either walkers or rejuvenator, and that's gonna be just a tough decision to make.
Can we see Wraith's ability point allocation, please? I would love to see what he's maxed out over here.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's see that.
Right, so okay,
maxed out
he's got
ult and the teleport.
So this is the thing, right? Wraith is not going to get significantly more powerful when it comes to just the... I mean, max cards is nice, but it's not the biggest of deals, especially when you've got this many weapon-based items and you're not going the card-spared build. So in a position like this, it does feel like Hayes might be more favored going into the later game, because when you get more flex slots out, I think Hayes should be in an advantage, to be honest, at about 35+ mark. But let's see. There's still that, you know, sort of singularity into Wraith ult that you have to be careful about. Never actually seen that come through so far. Wraith now TPing forward. It's going to be the singularity.
Here
It's
we
going to be the
go.
Wraith ult. I asked for
There
it,
it
and we
is.
shall receive. But the disarm from the Moat and Krill. The Sandblast keeps him away. He's stunned up and left us doing nothing. He's been held down. But Moat and Krill's the one who's being cornered out instead.
Oh my goodness.
Yamato, ultimate now out, and it's all falling apart. Hayes getting ready to try and re-engage into the fight.
This was the fight that both teams were afraid of, and it's going the way of the Mahjong and Krill side. Viscous up to a 7-kill streak. Now, Soul Rebirth for Pocket. He's just going to be killed immediately after that, and I think right now it's going to be the mid-boss fight. They're going for it. They know that Hayes has given up her ultimate. She's already used it. They're just going to take this mid-boss and run with it, take the Rejuvenator, and use that to accelerate into starting to push down those walkers and maybe go for the base as well. The mid-boss crumbling, getting shredded to pieces, and there's nothing that Deadlock Deepstate can do but watch.
And they've only got one perspective because Hayes is the only one alive, so that's kind of a shitty watching experience.
This is true. Oh goodness, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's just like, all right, Hayes, go farm. And I mean, Walker on blue lane has just been taken down as well. So there's only one Walker left. It's Greenwich, and for Mahjong and Krill, they have the rejuve, so they can just try and go for some of those fights if they need to.
Yeah, it's going to be a very important Walker to actually find as well. But you don't really want to overcommit for this. Ideally, on Deadlock Deepstate, what you want to do is just try and disrupt the Rejuvenator for 2 or 3 players. But even then, trading 2 for 2 is just not good when you've got the Rejuve on the other side. It's going to be tough, but this is where maybe the turnaround can still come through. Abrams come forward. Good stun being found as well, but no one's dying. Finally, Wraith goes down. McGinnis wall as well. Closes Abrams into the room. Dynamo as well. Just trying to fade away. He'll have another entanglement or 2, but it won't really matter. He'll die regardless. This is going to be disaster. Exactly what they needed.
Yeah, great play coming out there from the Deadlock Deepstate. A good engage to take down 3, 4 of the Mahjong and Krill. And now losing out on so many of those fights, they will continue to maintain their Walker. And it's going to essentially be on the other side here of Mahjong and Krill to just kind of, you know, play it back and let things, you know, kind of cool off a little bit more. Now, Yamato and Ivy still will be holding on to their Rejuvenators, which is at least good for them. But that timer is going to start to run low here soon.
It does also feel like even when Wraith is being sort of caught out, and this is one of those things where, I'll be honest, I don't actually know that much about Ivy in terms of how functional this is, but Ivy in my head I've always likened to an IO in Dota, right? You've got the tether, you've got the heal through it as well. It feels like you should be able to keep your teammates alive for a little while longer, you know, when you've got that super farmed Wraith being the primary focus. Obviously, Wraith is a bit of a squishier hero as well, even if you're going for the tanky build. If you're silenced up, if you're disabled at all, the teleport is out of reach for you. Stun, you feel like you just die. So I'm surprised that the Ivy hasn't been given more of a, hey, just keep the Wraith alive somehow situation, but maybe that's just not feasible. Like I said, I don't know that much about Ivy and how the hero operates.
Yeah, Ivy can be a bit of a tricky one to use, and while after that big team fight that we saw come out from Deadlock Deepstate, look at where they are in the Souls department now, up by about 7,000. They've kind of jumped back into a bit of the slight lead here, although when you're getting into the hundreds of thousands of souls, realistically that can flip with one good fight here from either side, but it looks like for Mahjong and Krill, they want to start to try and take down the Walker. They are setting up for it here on the lane. Dynamo with the ultimate, but the wall... And it's Dynamo getting cubed up, so he will at least be allowed to stay alive for a bit longer here. Refresher popped, and there's Dynamo, a second one. Although still going down, Mahjong and Krill, they haven't been able to capitalize on everything that's going on. And Ivy is just barely hanging on by a thread, trying to stay alive. Wraith going in, trying to fight, but it's Viscous to fall. And now things falling apart here for Mahjong and Krill, as it's Wraith, the carry, eliminated. And it is essentially a 4-0 in favor of Deadlock Deepstate. They're going to push for the base.
Everyone on Deadlock Deepstate needs to get down and kiss the feet of Quiggs on the McGinnis. He just got two of the most impactful walls out over there, because even if there's a refresher repeat singularity, it does not matter. There's not going to be another quick follow-up in that way. You don't have a refresher on the right, so the ultimate from her is not really going to be coming out in that same way either. This is just perfect counterplay. The McGinnis doesn't even have resources. He has 23,000 net worth. He is not the one who's been given much, but he's been doing everything with abilities. And now Lash diving in again with the re-engage. They found Yamato as well. This should
see moment. A 2-0 on the series. Will they be allowed to is the real question. The Patron put down to its weakened state, but respawns are starting to come through. But without Dynamo's ultimate to try and maybe pin people in the pit, it's going to be challenging. Wraith gets caught, ulted by Mo and Krill. Hayes going for the bullet dance in the pit now. Will start to farm some damage, and even could be starting to farm up on that one. Abrams gone, and it's seemingly like it's possibly the end here for Mahjong and Krill. It's still 3 players alive, but players are starting to trade back now. The fight may be starting to turn. maybe there is at least a bit of a chance here. It's Viscous going straight in for the Lash. Wants to try and find that kill. Wants to maybe try and continue to turn things in the favor. And it will be a Lash at least going down. Pocket spotted as well. And Mahjong and Krill, I think they're in a very similar situation to what they saw in Game 1. They're just going to have to hold on for dear life.
Again, I'm just going to ask the same question, which is, who the hell is saving, right? I mean, I don't know if Leffa is out of position, or I don't know if Rocka, Sharky, and Hydration are at this point, right? There's clearly some comms breakdowns, and it's very difficult to get your comms right in situations like this. But you need to have the cube available for Leffa. You need to have the, maybe something like a leap forward quantum entanglement out for Leffa in a situation like that. He's just not getting damage out. And sure, you get 4 kills there nonetheless, but when you don't have your major pushing power in the form of Wraith, you're not going to be able to really just quickly barrel down a lane, take out lane guardians, threaten a shrine or two or something like it as well. Obviously, still always going to be hard when you have the lanes pushed in towards you, and it's really not the biggest of deals, but if this ends up being a trend later on, we are going to see troubles for Mahjong because that is still their primary damage dealer.
Yeah, absolutely here. And what we do see right now is that with having, been able to stave off that fight right towards the very end there, Mahjong and Krill have been able to just take some time, get a soul urn, converted and everything like that. And they've lanes to about right there. They're kind of making sure that their base is going to be defended. Let the patron continue to stay at that max HP because it's being fully defended, and I do see an opportunity for at least a bit of farm there. It looks like Abe's going to be sent over to recover on that one, picking up over on the purple lane there, and we do see that it looks like for Deadlock Deepstate though, they are starting to consider going for a bit more of this fight for the lanes as mid boss has just been pulled back up.
Lane state right now is pretty heavy push for the Sapphire side. Right, you can see pretty much every lane is being pushed in, especially the 2 middle lanes, which are the more important ones in a position like this. But the fight's going out towards Yamato. They want to find Hawk. They want to take him down before the fight even begins. And Hawk's going to get the ultimate off at the very least. Will not be silenced or anything like it, but he's also trapped out. There's nowhere to go, but turns out that Mo and Krill is the one who's going down instead. Rescue beam from the Kelvin will keep him away. Disarm as well, and that's why Yamato just can't get anything done. Double Shadow Transformation, though, will be helping him out. Quick turnaround, kill on the Lash, and more damage found.
More damage found, and Yamato will just be backing away, realizing she does not have her ult to work with. But Lash! Here he comes! The Death Slam into the ground! Yamato, though, will try and find her avenue to continue fighting. Pocket and Kelvin knocked lower in the HP, and Yamato with no way out, but Pocket is gone. Yamato still fighting McGinnis, trying to fight to stay alive! And she beats Abrams to the they are trying to do as much as possibly can. Going well for them. This could be problems here for Mahjong and Krill. Ivy getting pushed in by Lash, who's got plenty of HP to work with. The melee trying to come through, the connection, and that's at least a kill. Yamato fighting in the close quarters, but she's just boxed in. How will she stay alive? How will she survive the fight? She's doing well for now, but will it last? Will it be able to maintain? That's the real question here. Oh, goodness, it looks like she's getting caught out, and there it is. Lash and McGinnis have just turned that fight around entirely.
God, the turret damage is so annoying. He put his turrets in such good positions as well, so there's not actually anywhere to hide where he can just reach and up on Hawk and the Yamato. So Quigs is really just playing a fantastic game as a beginner so far, but really the turnaround comes out in the hands of Lash. The obviously taken down early on, but he had the soul rebirth, comes back alive, and that's exactly what you want to see from a Lash like it. The counter initiation, I've talked about how Pocket's got plenty of it, but obviously Lash's ultimate as well provides you a lot of the same. Mid-boss is now the target, but remember, Mahjong and Krill have respawned, and their zip lines are pretty close by. They can still try for this.
Now with this, they're going for it. Look at it, Viscous hot on the heels. They're going to start to push forward. Mo and Krill is already here, though. The mid-boss hasn't gone down yet, and Abrams has got an ultimate just about ready to go, and the longer that this takes, the more ready that the team of Mahjong Krill is going to be. Mid-boss down, and here comes the fight. It's going to be one for sure. Lash going to get caught. Viscous jumping in. There's the lift from Wraith, and Lash will he be able to survive? The Rejuvenator hasn't been picked up by either side just yet. It's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a fight, but Mahjong and Krill, they steal it away, but they're all getting melted, incinerated in the crucible that is the mid-boss pit.
That's the problem of having such a take on the mid-boss, and now Wraith in the meanwhile as well will be forced off and forced to reuse a rejuve. Listen, at the end of the day, the rejuvenate is used up on pretty much everyone but Yamato, but even if you can keep it alive on one, that does feel worth it. The soul advantages aren't really that significant at this point, right? You're 37 minutes into the game. Sure, you're getting a lot of kills out, and that's nice. It's a feel-good moment, but everyone's going to be respawning. Remember, though, the Patron is weakened, right? So at any point, if the Rejuvenator had been gained, you just death spiral onto the Rejuve. Even if you die, you zipline boost back in. So this was vital for Mahjong and Krill. I just need everyone to remember this doesn't mean they're out of deep water.
Yeah, it's Mahjong and Krill. They're still in some real deep sewer water right now. It stinks a little bit.
Sewer water, damn, dude. That's got cholera going on over here.
They're deep in the feces at the moment, unfortunately, because they're down by a considerable margin in terms of their souls, about 15,000, and they really have to find whatever leg up that they can right now. And one of the problems that they're starting to face is that they don't have flex slots. That's their problem right now, is that they don't have all of their flex slots unlocked, whereas for Deadlock Deepstate they do. I am very much enjoying this out from the beginning. I think it's a potential maybe just play to just wait for the engagement of the rest of the fight, and maybe just try and backdoor for the patron. But right now this game is it's really strongly favoring Deadlock Deepstate at the moment.
Yeah, it feels like that walker's been up forever.
Yeah, that blue walker, that walker's been standing there as it's a tale as old as time itself.
I'm still standing. He's got his own soundtrack going on right now. He's got his headphones on.
He's chilling. That walker is chilling, just ready to. He's vibing out. He's like, man, I got a great team. They're defending me till the end of the earth. And when you look, oh my god. Just take a look at Deadlock Deepstate, and so many soul rebirths.
Yeah, and this is also where, by the way, the soul rebirths also come as a courtesy of having these extra flex slots, right? You've got.
It does.
Now remember, the other point which makes the souls less important is every single player on Deadlock Deepstate has 2 extra items, right?
Yep.
That's huge.
That's it. Yeah,
everyone's sort of maxing out their abilities at this point, right? Across the board, everyone's sort of maxing out AP points, sure. But when you have 2 literal extra items, because you've got that, you've got both shrines up and you've got that extra walker over there, that feels different.
And the lead just continues to grow in favor of Deadlock Deepstate as well. 269k to 245k. That's about a 24,000 soul difference here. The advantages just continue to stack up in favor of the Deep State, and essentially from Mahjong and Krill, this next fight essentially determines who wins the game, right? Is if they cannot break through, you know, because they have to essentially win 2 team fights in one. Is 4 players have got soul rebirth. That's as plain and simple. That's how it is.
Casting room on the pocket as well. This late into the game, it's not the most significant, but it is quite nice. I actually don't know if the casting rune applies to items as well. Because if it does, then that means the soul rebirth right now becomes a little bit more effective. But yeah, hey, it's just one of the million things that I'm going to be saying. I don't actually know this, but it's cool if it is the case.
Listen, Valve
oh my
thought of
god,
a lot of really
Griggs
cool
has
things.
found him again!
Yeah, McGinnis found him and made him use his ult to just escape, because that's the problem here with Mahjong and Krill. They realize they have to stay alive. They can't afford to lose anybody in these fights just to getting picked off one by one. They have to survive as long as they can. But the souls just continue to stack up further and further for the Deadlock Deep State.
Yeah, all those tier 1s, they're about to be converted pretty soon. Oh my goodness, look at how aggressive Quig is just continuing to be. His walls have been impeccable so far.
Yeah, those walls have just genuinely been a game changer here for the Deep State, and we do see that, you know, there's continues these rescue beams pulling players out when they get caught. It's such a great coordinated effort here. And they're starting to push in for the base. DMB, though, does get caught. That's going to be the Lash gone, but Soul Rebirth means that he'll have to fight again.
Oh, they're
But
dying.
it's the Patron. They're going in on it. Dynamo, there's the ult. There's the ult that they needed. Abrams will be starting to wail in on as well. And that's a huge fight won. But will the
Soul
Patron
Rebirth.
last long enough? That's the real question. McGinnis is trying to end. McGinnis is trying to finish the game. The Patron is chipped away. And despite the best of efforts from Mahjong and Krill,